Hi, my name's Bill Ryan. This is a will review. It's a cheap DIY will purchased on eBay in 2010. It cost £2.50, which is not a lot of money, of course. It claimed to be suitable for use in England and Wales and that it was fully legal. There was plenty of information about why you shouldn't be intestate in the advert, not much information about the product itself. This is page 1 of the will. It looks pretty, nice old-fashioned script. Unfortunately, the language used matches that as well. If you look at the line beginning I hereby, that ends up with the word heretofore, which is a word I don't think I've come across before, and I'm a lawyer. At the bottom there's a box where the witnesses to the will can put their signatures and their address details and occupation. There's very little space there. This is page 2. You can continue writing your will instructions on here if you need the space. There's an additional signature box at the bottom. It's got the same problems with the small size. The wording there on the left says, signed by the said testator in the presence of us, present at the same time, who at H space request in H space presence and in the presence of each other have subscribed our names as witnesses. I presume you put in his or her in the blank spaces. There's no instructions to do that, and yet again I think this might cause a bit of confusion. This is page 3, the instruction sheet. These are the instructions that will help you draft your will. They are very basic instructions and they're not given in a particularly clear or unambiguous way. Strangely, the instructions include reasons not to write a codicil, and it does warn you about some areas to avoid, such as interlineation, but in the space available it's surprising that that sort of thing is mentioned. It goes on to explain in 2 different ways that neither a beneficiary nor the spouse should be a witness, because that of course can mean they don't receive any inheritance under the will. But it doesn't mention anything about civil partners having the same potential problem. I imagine this is because this is based on an older precedent. It would be helpful if there was actually a date on the will form itself to give you an indication. Page 4. This is an example which is to help you draft the will by looking at the example and perhaps copying it. There is precious little guidance really above and beyond the information contained within this example. It's just some simple gifts and giving the remainder to a particular person. The example also contains the witness signing box, but it's actually bigger than in the real will itself, and it might give the impression that signing is actually printing your name, because that's what's on the example. I'd just like to comment on what I've seen in this will kit. The language is very old-fashioned and very likely to be misunderstood for that very reason. The scope of the instructions was very limited. There's no mention of dealing with children who might need guardians appointed. There's insufficient guidance about appointing executors. The layout and space available for witness signatures is likely to cause problems, and having 2 separate witness signing boxes may lead to the will being witnessed in the wrong place. Overall, I would conclude that this will lacks clear instructions. The actual scope of the instructions is very limited, probably too limited really. It's really not suitable for anyone with children under 18, as there's no instructions on how to appoint guardians. There's a real likelihood that anyone using this product will make an invalid will because of mucking up the attestation part, the witness signing part, for all the reasons I've mentioned before. Overall, I'd say this product is very poor and should be treated with extreme care.